All right, good morning and welcome once again to your show on channel 196 Star Times. This is Crossfire. My name is Dapo Banjo and I have with me on the show as usual my co-anchor Barrister Ishoma Againe.
Good morning, Nigerians, and you're welcome to the show.
I mean, the week seems to be, crawling.
Congratulations on yesterday.
Anyway, I mean, if peradventure you just feel that you can't sense so much energy in my voice this morning, it was because my team lost yesterday 2-1 to Arsenal. As a matter of fact, I believe that we deserve to win that match, but I mean, it's just about losing and winning. So I mean, it's just one of those things.
Even I'm a Chelsea fan, but then I had to sit back and watch, the game from an open perspective. And the truth, I believed, Manu. I really wanted Manu to win, actually. But then, from the game, it was from the first, minute to the end. It was obvious that, Manchester United lacked good defense. And then don't blame Welbeck. I mean, didn't you see Welbeck's goal?
Anyway, the most annoying thing for me about the match.
Of the best goals
ever. The most amazing thing, they played into his hands. It wasn't a set pieces. It wasn't anything.
He fought really hard for that goal.
And I said it. When the match started, I said, guide against Welbeck writing history. Make sure this guy does not score today. I don't know. Arsenal could have won, but I just don't want Welbeck to score. He's just trying to send an information to Van Gaal.
The guy wasn't on top of his game. He wasn't on top of his game.
Anyway, that's not the story for today. For many Man U fans out there, I want to say a very big congratulations to us. I mean, this is just one of those things. And life is just about winning some battles and losing some. This morning, as usual, we'll be treating a topic that is very, very, very interesting. And I believe a lot of Nigerians will be interested, in being part of this. Now, elections 2015, six weeks ago, or about from February 14th, we had an extension, a postponement of 6 months, of 6 weeks. Sorry, I hope this 6 month thing will not just come to pass. 6 weeks postponement for the elections. And so we have the new dates of March the 28th and April the 11th for both the presidential and the gubernatorial and the House of Assembly elections. And I believe that all energy is jet towards making this one a reality. And so all parties are ensuring that these dates are sacrosanct and that May the 29th will be another very interesting history in the life of our dear country, Nigeria, when we usher in another republic. As it were, we'll be looking today on elections 2015, managing electoral expectations. Managing electoral expectations. In the history of democracy in Nigeria, only a few elections have had the hype of the 2015 elections, and you will agree with me, this has created strands of expectations that will be very challenging to manage. The numerous campaigns and rallies are predominantly on two principal concerns: expectation of victory by all the parties and then campaign promises to change the country. The visible element of surprise is that voters seems to be buying into them. Now, most voters have a catalog of reasons why victory should be their parties. In the same manner, they can reel out the party's manifesto or the electoral promises of each candidate and all the campaign centers on the certainty of victory for each contender, and nobody talks about the possibility of losing the elections. All the political parties stand on the ideology of liberating the potentials of Nigeria, leading to its peace, progress, and prosperity. Ishoma, managing electoral expectations. I have my expectations, and I believe that you have yours.
Definitely.
And then the whole
expectations.
Exactly. And I take consolation in the Holy Book. The Holy Book says, surely there's an end, and the expectation of the righteous will not be cut off. So we believe very strongly, and we wish that all Nigerians' expectation will not be cut off as we approach as we approach the polls. Now, managing electoral, expectations. There are some and so many certain, expectations. I just want to ask you this question. What exactly are your expectations come March the 28th?
Okay, but that's pretty tricky though. But then come March 28th, my my major expectation is that we have a government, that would be ushered in, that can give people, the true essence of democracy, that can make our living worth it. Because if you look across the length of breadth, thank God we have a map in front of us here. If you look at the structure of Nigeria, you find out that virtually every region in the country, they all have specific potentials buried, embedded, in those areas. But then we find out that these, natural resources are not being utilized properly for the good of Nigerians. They're utilized for some selected few. But it's sad because the people whose lands, the people who own these resources are suffering every day. Nigerians are made to leave the country, to go outside the country to find greener pastures. And then they get there, they're subjected to so many ridiculous foreign policies. But if our nation was so fantastic, we didn't need to go there. We see Nigerians who die out there just because they want to make ends meet, because they do not want to steal or kill, but they want to work legitimately. So we hope we can have a government that can look at the people of Nigeria and say, we have uranium in this country, we have gold, we have aquamarine, it's a natural stone, we have bitumen, we have oil, we have natural gas, we have agriculture. These are things a lot of foreign nations do not even have half of these. But then we've seen how they've been able to build their country from nothing. And we have all of this and more. And then we can't do anything. So I hope we can have a government that will represent the people.
As for me, I'm just looking forward to a bigger, brighter, better, Nigeria come, after the elections, and we have elected, people into offices, and we have tried as much as possible to make sure that we have the type of election that is credible, that is tolerant, that transparent, that is peaceful, that is free, that is fair. So that at the end of the day, when the elected set of candidates become, get into office, they can settle down in good time and begin, to shaping the nation as promised. And don't forget, in terms of expectation, most of our expectations are actually built around what this, what politicians, because as for me and you, they are politicians until they get into office and we see them reeling out all that they are promised to do. So it's not about, it's not just strictly about making those promises. It goes a little beyond that. And that's what we're going to be, basing our discussion on today. So many things they promise. I did a thorough search. I looked at all the manifestos, across all the parties that will be represented at the presidential polls. And I was able to come up with a list of a lot of things that they have promised Nigerians they will do when they come into power. And believe you me, many of them seems to have almost the same manifesto. We will do this, we'll do that. And we'll just go into a long list of many of these things.
But then based on what some of the things I was able, in my mind, I may be wrong, I may be right. But then for them to all come out, these different political parties, and say, we will do this, we will do this, we will do this, it means, in my own opinion, it means Nigeria is in a deplorable state right now. It's in a state that needs salvation. Let me use that word. It's in a state that needs redemption. I hope you don't belong to the school of thought who believes that Jonah is Jesus, or there is another one. No. What I'm saying that right now, as Nigeria is today, Nigeria needs a Messiah. So a political Messiah that can you see any Messiah out of all the candidates that we have? In my opinion, yes. But we have a Messiah. It's not for public consumption. In my opinion, I believe yes. Well, just like Moses. So are you saying that we don't? Do we have the Messiah on ground, or we seek that which is to come? We seek that which is to come. We seek that which is to come. So here we have no continuity. Here we have no continuity. Can we just focus on the issue? But then at least you understand what I'm trying to say. All right, we have some of these typical manifestos, that parties have promised us in 2015. You want to quickly go through the first one while I take the other. Okay. What do you have there? The first one on my list is better management of our natural resources. And you were talking about that already. We have uranium. A lot of Nigerians would understand what uranium is used for. The truth is, I see no reason why we still need to buy ammunition to improve our security when we have the raw material here in the country. Is it tapped? And if it's tapped, who is benefiting from it? what use is it? During the Civil War, I like to make reference to this because it shows me how we need to do whatever government it is that gets into office come March 28th. They have a lot of work to do. Now, during the Civil War, the Biafran forces, while they were moving, two fantastic equipments they manufactured out of nothing. They manufactured a mobile refinery. A lot of people do not know this, but that's the truth. It's out there, like the informations are out there for you to go and find out. Mobile refinery. While they were running from the Nigerian troops, they were refining the oil to power their machines and all of that. Imagine if we have that working today in Nigeria. Imagine, how fantastic it would be, the kind of economic benefits it would give this country. Secondly, they also manufactured a local device. I hope I get the pronunciation, but Oginigwe. It was like a local, an atomic bomb kind of, but a local, missile, which got fired into the air and they sprayed ashes, chemical dust, and then it was so effective that it killed a lot of Nigerian troops during the battle, during the Civil War. So imagine, out of nothing, these soldiers were able to build very good, inventions. Do we have these things today?
All right.
No.
Anyway, we have a couple of these points that we're bringing to you on the show today, and I'm very sure, you will be interested in just finding out more details. We'll proceed on a very short break now, then we'll come back, we'll take the show to another level. Then we'll be right back. All right, we are back. This is still Crossfire, and we've been dealing with elections 2015 with focus on managing electoral expectations. There are a lot of promises, loads of promises that politicians have reeled out to Nigerians that they will do when they finally get elected into office. And we're trying as much as possible to let the electorate be educated to knowing that the expectations that you have may probably be met or not met. But it is very essential that these expectations are well managed.
Sure.
Lest you are prompted to do something that you ordinarily will not
and
do.
We hope and we implore
and all of that. And then before we went on the short break, Ishoma was talking about the better management of our natural resources, and she made mention of a couple of all very important things, that we are expecting, the country or our politicians or the people elected into office to be able to do with our natural resources if they have the opportunity to come into power. And then the next one is building roads, power, and infrastructure. The incumbent government promised us as part of the, the agenda, the transformation agenda, that electricity will be in Nigeria. Now, I expected that, if we have had 12 years of continuous democracy from 1999 up till 2011, and we ushered in a freshness in terms of a new person being elected into office, and it came up with a robust plan.
Still under the same political
exactly,
party.
and it came up with a robust plan, especially the expectation of Nigerians when it comes to power, power and energy, particularly to be. But today it's a different ball game. Now, over the last 4 years, our expectation is just that policies will be made and things will be done. I can tell you reassuringly that some right steps were taken, as it were, a plus to to the incumbent government, and that is the unbundling of the energy sector, of the power sector, breaking them into transmission and distribution and all of that, and then building infrastructure. But truth is that, how has this translated into electricity in my house? People. How has it translated into electricity for my business? How has it translated into, joy for my investment, and all of that?
Exactly. Putting a stop to using of generators.
Exactly.
And all of
for my investment, you still see I power my house house by myself. I provide security for myself. I provide my water. I generate my water. And I'm a taxpayer in this country, and yet I cannot reap the dividend of democracy because I don't seem personally to be enjoying all the infrastructures and the facilities. Even my road I generate, because every time rain is coming, we buy broken, blocks and all of that. We break it on our roads so that we don't have potholes and all of that. And that is all we do. So, I mean, if you ask me, the federal government may not have done so much, but I don't seem to have enjoyed any luxury from even the state government. So if the ruling party belongs to a particular party, and then another party is in Lagos, and I have not been able to even enjoy anything from the federal and from the state, then it's a hopeless situation. So promising us that you will build roads and power and infrastructure. Look at what happened to the Federal Ministry of Works, over the night. The budget from 11 billion. I mean, this is a budget that I expect was probably increased for this particular financial year, or this budget. Maybe it was 80 or 81 they did last year. They want to build more roads, and so it came to about 100 billion. And then you are cutting it down to 11 billion. What message are you trying to pass to Nigerians? Are you trying to say that
you're not ready to do anything?
Exactly. That is one. And then two, are you saying that there have been inflated in terms of budgeting coming from the Federal Ministry of Works over the years, and you are trying to be transparent this time by cutting it down to an appreciably, to a ridiculous 10% of what was submitted at budget. That is very hilarious. When I saw it, I just laughed, and I just you're just making, ridicule of the Nigerian people. Let's look at the next point.
Okay, on my list, the next point I have is creating jobs. The truth is, this is a major issue because I believe for every situation, every negative situation we have in the country, the truth is, an idle mind, they say, is the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
An individual who has a lot of work on his hands will not think about going to snatch ballot boxes, will not think about blocking the roads and robbing people. But then we see these issues. Someone who has a job and he's focused and dedicated, he loves his job, would not think about joining Boko Haram or ISIS. But then, because there are no jobs, and then these negative elements come to them, I will give you so and so amount of money, do this negative thing. And then the people will be happy to jump at it. Why? Because there are no good jobs. And you say you're creating jobs. What kind of jobs are you creating for the people? Are you trying to build our workforce, or you want these people to feed from hand to mouth, something they can just keep? No. But in as much as we hope whatever government comes on board creates jobs, another major issue is improve our labor laws so that those who already have jobs can also enjoy the dividends of working. Because if you look at it today, we have porous, as I can say, as good as they're not even working. Our labor laws, you're working somewhere and you're being exploited, by your boss. You're not even protected.
By the organization you're working for. You are sacked at will. You are sacked at will without any reason.
Come on.
With every sense of impunity.
Exactly. In your own country. So these are some of the things, we hope that whatever government comes on board, and I hope our politicians are listening, create jobs for the people, but also improve our laws. So people can be happy that they're working in their country.
In addition to that, as many people who doesn't have a job to make money, to be able to take care of themselves and probably their dependencies, they have made robbing those of us who are working a job. It's a job. They have seen it as a big job, robbing us, and it's unfortunate. Right. Now, another very great thing they have promised us that they will do when they get into office is to fight corruption. I can tell you that, corruption has eaten deep into the very bone and marrow of every Nigerian. It cuts across every strata of life and every cadre and every, age and gender. It has eaten really so very deep. To the extent that you even find corruption coming from a market woman. A market woman is corrupt. A organizer is corrupt.
Even little children.
Even the field attendant in the filling station, is poised, to rob you.
True.
Even while. This is a service you are going to pay for God's sake, and you are even paying more than you are supposed to pay for, as it were. But yet, we have. I really don't know how the country, and that's why I've been saying, if Adedapo Banjo gets elected into government tomorrow, and I become the president of Nigeria, believe you me, for the first 2 years, I'm not going to promise electricity, I'm not going to promise anything, I'm just going to promise you for the first 2 years, a very deep, all-involving national reorientation. The Nigerian man needs to be reorientated.
Sure.
You need to respect time. You need to respect money. You need to respect your environment. You need to respect everything around you.
Even the next individual.
Exactly, because what you don't respect, you don't attract.
True.
And that is the reason why we have a very major, breakdown in terms of, law and order and so many things. And that's because it has become, the order of the day. So let us see. They said they will fight corruption. That is the promise we have been hearing since democracy was ushered in 1999. How much of corruption have we been able to fight?
True, I agree with you. Now, for me, on my other list, this is very important. Free, quality education. I have a problem with whenever people, these politicians come out and they say we will improve education, and yet they're not doing anything.
They said they have improved it.
Oh, hello. It's not by building structures.
That's what they're building.
Because the truth is, you can build whatever structure, you just come and put blocks and all of that. That's not education. Education is the quality of information and knowledge you're impacting on the people. The average Nigerian, I believe, is very intelligent and talented by nature. Nigerians are amazing people. But then you see how people, they're not being able to harness this information. Why? Because even the quality of information which our so-called schools of today are passing across to it's nothing.
It's terrible.
And you see, most of these politicians, they all have their own private schools, which you pay in dollars, which are so expensive. Now, the common man, the vulcanizer or the market woman that does not have that kind of money to send their kids to that school, what then should that kids fare?
It's really very terrible. Now another promise that they have made to us is healthcare plans for children and adults. I believe that every Nigerian should have access to good medical,
free
healthcare.
Free medical healthcare.
I don't even want to say free, but I'm saying make it available, make it affordable. Affordable healthcare services. Many of them, they travel out of the country to get attention, to their medical concerns. And that is because they know over the years that this is not a good promise. They told us better management of natural resources, nothing has happened. Building of roads, power, nothing has happened. They will create jobs, nothing is happening. Fighting corruption, nothing is happening. Relevant quality education, nothing is happening. Healthcare plan for children and adults is a lie. For me, I want to tell you, it is a lie. It's so very, very terrible that one of the reasons my father died early is the fact that we just could not access affordable, medical care. All the places we went to were private, practitioners who were telling us, hey, it has cost us a fortune to be able to bring all of these machines into the country. So it's not for free. We are not actually a charity house. We are in business. And they won't give you all the attention that you require. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say something additional to what you said, but so you will
let's just move on. But
let's just move on.
Yeah.
On my list, I have restoring our agriculture. While growing up as a child, I can still recall very well on some of our readers, primary school readers, social studies, when we're being taught social studies in primary school. And then they talked about, the South, breaking it down to the regions. In the North, we had our groundnut pyramids. Please, where are they?
They have disappeared.
And these were the mainstay of our economy.
It used to be a pyramid. Now it's a triangle.
But where are we still seeing the triangles?
You can't see the.
And then in the West, we had a cocoa plantation. Everywhere. These were the things, Nigeria's mainstay. And then you move over to the East. They had, their yams, tubers of yam. You go down to the South. They had the oil palms. These were things that, that generated heavy revenue for the country. Because the truth is, if our agricultural sector is well improved, imagine this would provide very good jobs for the people. We're not talking about farming. We're talking about even large-scale production. Not you carrying your hoe, and then it's just imagine when you have good agriculture, a lot of businesses, a lot of manufacturing companies will spring forth, because now the people will begin to think about transforming these raw materials into finished products to preserve it.
That's very
But
true.
then, do we have leaders who can sit down
right,
to think
right now,
about these things?
Right now, I believe that if they promise that they are going to actually restore Nigerian agriculture, I see a lot of energy being channeled towards it, because oil, that has always been the Nigerian mainstay, is having issues. There is oil, there's world, crisis when it comes to oil price, and so I see government wanting to actually invest to replacing agriculture as the Nigerian mainstay. We survived.
The truth is they're not actually doing it in the right way.
Because
when you improve agriculture, the prices of food commodities will drop. So instead of you buying tomato, like a basket of tomato, a little basket of tomato for 100 naira before, if you improve it, you will have more goods in the market, and then the prices will reduce. Now, because when you go to our market, you see heaps of oranges and tomatoes and peppers that are rotting away.
Yes, because
you're improving agriculture. You know that we have to begin to set up industries that can turn these raw tomatoes from going back into puree.
Anyway, that's very true.
That's how you
another very great point. They have promised to ensure that, they usher in 2015 social welfare plan for the less advantaged, for crying out loud.
Old people.
I see. Yes, we don't have. Have you ever been to any aged home in Nigeria that is working? We don't take care of our aged. You have to just do it.
Yeah.
If you can't take care of your grandma and your grandpa in your house, whether when they are very old, you bring them to you, and then you do your best, and then they pass on to glory. Forget about going to drop them somewhere. You will see a lot of people maltreat your aged parents.
True.
If you take them to how many people have been reorientated to want to take care of an imbecile, to want to take care of an aged person that you change pampers and without having to push them and make them. You see, all this, I see many of these things as empty promises. And then they said strengthen peace, security, and foreign policy. We have said that so many times on this show. and anyway, let us see how far the fight against Boko Haram will be by the time it's 6 weeks into the postponement of the elections. Now, let's quickly take the show to another level before we start taking calls. Okay, let's take our first call on the show. All right, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello,
Hi,
Odiaka.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Odiaka.
Yes, my name is Odiaka Chiunya. I'm calling from Lagos.
Welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, Odiaka.
Yeah, you see, because of the way politics is practiced here in Nigeria, I don't believe in these manifestos, nor neither in the debates that some persons are clamoring for. And the reason being that Nigerian politicians don't do what they say at the end of the day. They can tell you whatever you want to hear in the manifestos and in these debates. And when they come to office, they do something else. So rather than believe in these bogus manifestos, I believe in the achievements of the parties and the candidates. For example, if you look at the achievement of the ruling party, they have always had 5 manifestos since 16 years of their administration till now.
Governance.
Yeah.
But what have we gotten from these manifestos? Corruption and incompetence. And the same ruling party is coming up with another manifesto and asking for debate. And what are they going to tell me in these manifestos and debates that they are going to do different?
Hello, Odiaka.
That we have experienced under the... You say what?
Hello, Odiaka. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Can I ask you a question?
Please, your voice is not audible enough.
All right. Now, let me put it this way. Assume, I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm assuming that you have become or you are a candidate for a particular party that have the chances of winning the elections. Will you come up with a manifesto? Hello, Odiaka.
Hello.
Hello?
Odiaka, are you still there? Odiaka, please call us back.
But the truth
because
Odiaka said some things which
very meaningful.
I agree. But the truth is a lot of Nigerians do not even know their rights. That you can hold any government responsible.
Let's take this call from Kogi. Hello, good morning. Hello, Yusuf.
Good morning, Yusuf.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Yusuf.
Yeah, please, I want to contribute to the program.
Sure.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, the program is very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, I must confess to you now, because I lost my job under this regime.
So sorry
I work
about
in
that.
a social company, and of about 8,000 under this present administration. Now, when the president Jonathan came to Kogi State in 2011 to campaign and about Ajakuta Iron and Steel. Now it come again this 2015 election with the same. Nothing has been done. My brother, they have said we need to change.
Thank you very much, Yusuf.
Thank
the
you.
story of Ajakuta is for another day.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Yusuf.
Thank you so much, Yusuf.
I don't know whether we should say sorry, but we actually
sympathize with you.
understand your position, and our prayer is just that God will make a way for you. Because that's why we're running to God, because people have failed us.
Yes.
They have given us empty promises, and all of that. Now, okay, while we're waiting for more calls on the show.
Usman is calling us from Kwara State.
Hello,
Good
Usman.
morning, Usman.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, Usman, good morning. How you doing?
I'm fine, and you, Mr. Banjo and Ishoma.
Very well,
Good,
very
good.
well. Thank
Welcome.
you.
All right. The political elect have never made my own. They have never made my own expectation of being a reality.
Yeah.
They've been told that NAPEP, or what is it called?
It's
Been
NAPEP.
created for NAPEP. Okay, it's been created. So
To hit jobs, to create jobs.
Yes. So do they expect the graduates, somebody like you, Shoma, and somebody like you, Banjo, to start riding
take to the roads.
NAPEP on the streets, the graduates, for that matter? Secondly, they said they are doing education, whatever. They are doing education initiatives. They are creating universities. Where are the lecturers? For you to get admission into the university, you have to spend close to 200,000 less. That is the minimum. So which way are they been meeting our own expectation? They are not helping the matter at all. And one thing I want to advise TV, please, you've not come up with an educational program for once. Maybe once in a week. You can shoot probably on Tuesday or Wednesday for us, please.
Yes, we have educational shows.
We do have educational
and
shows.
Usman, we promise you will be watching very soon.
Thank you very much. I'm writing my exam. I'm writing my exam. We wish me well.
All the
We
best
wish you
and good
all the
success.
best, and we wish you good success. We will not wish you good luck.
Good success.
All right. Good morning, Jacob. Hello, Jacob.
Hello?
Hello, Jacob.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're welcome to CROSSFIRE.
Yes, I'm actually watching from Lokoja, but then I'm based in Abuja.
Okay.
I had a couple of things people were talking about, and I decided calling into, cheating.
All right, please go.
Sometimes in the early 90s,
Yes.
the country we know today as Malaysia came into Nigeria to do some business with our country, and I'm talking based on research and facts.
All right.
And palm fruit seedlings were rendered to them from agricultural development project in Naniga, Kogi State. I schooled in Kogi State and Kogi State University. I finished from there some years ago.
Okay.
And
That's
I was
Anamba.
I was opportunity to go through, some of these records I'm talking about. Now, those seedlings were given to them. Today, we all know that Malaysia is the world's highest producer of palm, which they got from Nigeria in Kogi State. Now, I'm talking about this with reference to, agriculture. Now, in a country where we help other people to develop, yet we are doing nothing for ourselves. Don't you think we're living in a life of,
It's
no
unfortunate.
help for
It's
ourselves? Let me
unfortunate.
use that.
It's
Let me use
unfortunate.
that statement. And basically, if you're talking about unemployment cases and all that, the thing is this. The government of today, telling you now about my experience in Abuja, the government of today, I'm sorry to say, is not concerned about the common man. Yes, there are jobs. There are plenty jobs out there. But do you know what the jobs are? They are all outsourced jobs. You understand?
So by the time it's getting to you, it's going to fetch you peanut.
There are jobs in Abuja, for instance. For instance, the GIS project. The GIS project is an outsourced project. You understand? Now, the government has gone into an era of seeking for cheap labor for themselves. So they give out these jobs as contracts to contractors who in turn employ young Nigerians and pay them things that are not duly, responsible for the jobs.
Peanuts, yeah.
You understand? So if you're talking about job creation, the government is actually creating jobs, but they are using it for their own selfish gain. They are not using it to benefit any Nigerian.
Great.
Like a couple of friends of mine got this GIS scheme thing. That's how I got to know the whole outsourcing thing, the GIS, the graduate internship scheme.
Yeah.
They told me they are working for a company who gets to pay them below 40,000, below 40, 35 thereabouts every month. Now, the initial money that is coming in as their salary is close to 100. Now, because these things are being outsourced, they talk about, running costs.
Yeah.
They talk about maintenance of the facilities, So it's more like we're living in an era of neocolonialism. An era where because that's the right name for outsourcing. It's modern slavery.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jacob. Thank you so very much. If we give Jacob
a lot, he will
take over the show and see all the very vital points that he made.
I had to jot some of the things he was saying.
Okay, let's take this call. Ben, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you today?
Fine, and you guys?
All right, please go ahead and make your contribution.
Yeah, please, I want to contribute on this job creation.
All right.
Yeah.
As you can see, the outcome of job creation is terrorism of the thing and thugs on other things in the country. I think in the manifesto, the politicians will lay more emphasis on job creation.
Yes.
Because if there is job creation, people will not have time for the idea of creating all terrorism and other things. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead,
We
Ben.
can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you, Ben.
Okay. Like I said, if at all there is a job opportunity for the youth, I don't think people will have the idea of giving birth to all these terrorism thugs and politics thugs. So for that, in their manifesto, they shouldn't only put it there, they should try and work with the manifesto in terms of job creation. I believe the government, in terms of subsidy reduction, they made mention of one of the primary objectives of this subsidy is to create. But as I can tell you now, this Shopee, they're only doing it for themselves. Because you just see he's the manager of Shopee, driving a big car, while the youth are there doing nothing. And people say that the subsidy reduction is for what? Job creation. So please, with this, I think they should lay more emphasis on that.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Ben. Ishama, without any, I'm not trying to sound very modest, but I tell you the very truth. I think we should give kudos to Amin Ibrahim Musali. I'm telling you. You see, there are loads of problems out there. Loads of problems. Youths are suffering.
Very true.
People lose their jobs, Anyway, we'll go on a short break now because I'm becoming to get really very emotional about this. But we'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll go through the last stretch of the program. Stay with us. All right, we are back. This is still Crossfire, and we've been looking at managing electoral expectations. A lot of promises and manifesto details have promised Nigerians beautiful things in time past, and yet this time it's still happening. And then the question in the mind of a lot of electorate is to ask, they've done this over the years and nothing has happened, and they're doing it again. Are manifestos lies? Are they platform or opportunities for politicians to rob our ego and our emotions to make us really go and vote for them. And then when they get into office, the story changes. Now, we listed out some problems with these promises. And number one on the list is that what are the capacities of the winning party to mobilize resources to execute some of these manifestos? I mean,
That's it.
do they have the capacity to do it? Big question. Another one is, in the contest for power, words seems to be having meanings. Nigerians will benefit from better ideas that are distilled from contentions to serve the people better. I mean, it's just really very, this is a major problem. The high standard of service the politician promised at election times disappear once the contest, is decided, is won or lost.
Results are announced.
Now, the point is that will 2015 be different? In your perspective, do you think we have good promises out there? Do you think these manifestos are achievable?
These promises are same.
They're just same over the years.
I just hope 2015.
So what is the excitement for Nigerians about this election?
Nothing.
Wow.
Basically, no,
Wow.
actually there's
Wow.
something. Basically, for me, I believe the people of Nigeria right now have gotten it up here. And the excitement for them is we need something new.
Okay. Now, beyond the promises the parties make and the peace accord they have signed, how are the parties managing the expectations of the supporters? Many of the parties do not even care about the supporters.
No, they don't.
When I say care,
They're on agenda.
They are only care, okay, make sure you get your PVC, take
1,000
get
naira.
1,000 naira, go back there, and then you're voting for us.
It.
I mean,
and then they give some people guns.
That is what we have been reduced to.
Guns.
No, that is what politicians have reduced Nigerians to. I mean, really and truly. As they preach their advancement to victory, parties should also tell their supporters about the flip side of victory. Do you know, no party, I don't think any party has said anything very strong about losing. Everybody wants to win the elections. Everybody wants to win.
But then I think political
and when they
parties
lose, what
should
happens?
Educate their members also. It's not a do or die affair.
That we may lose.
Do not resort to
it means violence. It's not our time to rule. Oh.
Yes.
Something like that.
Teach the people. That's how we have good people that can think. But we don't.
Anyway, it's really, but for our people out there, all the electorates, please manage your expectations. It is very, very important that we all take care of our thought pattern and then our mindset. Don't expect too much from that man around the corner who has promised us that there will be heaven on earth when he gets into power. Over the years, we have seen this. But what this show is just about is to allow you to take informed decisions. And that's to let you know that these elections is not a do or die affair. Do everything that you can to stay safe. Even, before the elections, during the elections, and even after the elections, because the promises that they have given us may actually be lies.
Or they may be true.
And they may be true.
Never can tell.
All right. So prepare your mind that your party and your candidate may actually lose the forthcoming elections. Just prepare your mind. They won't tell you that. They make it look like everything they have put in place will make them win. But the true expectation is that they may lose.
Be one winner.
There will only be one winner. And then how has political parties fared in educating their supporters to ensure we have a violence-free election? Anyway. That's what we use this show to preach all the time.
Say no to violence.
Say no to violence. This election is not worth dying for.
Never.
It's not worth dying for. Anyway, this is our episode for today. We had a nice time in the studio. Managing the expectations of the electorate. And if you're out there, you have been a part of our show, kindly put all of these things at heart and ensure that you pass the message across to the next person. Let them know that this election is not worth dying for and that it can be violence-free, and it can be free, it can be fair, and it can be a very transparent, credible elections. As we approach the polls, let's be careful about what we say, how we say it, and to the people we say it to. Thank you for everybody. Thanks to everybody who have been a part of our show today, the crew, and the people who call into the show to let us know their thoughts. Be with us tomorrow morning for another very interesting episode. And from the studio, we're saying,
say no to violence.